Hey everyone, Zero Jetty here at the XBLA Fans Channel. Here we go, a quick taste of Everreach Project Eden. It is a very janky Mass Effect kind of game. Other than it being super janky, it's actually got a pretty decent story, even though it's kind of played out. It's the very basic, like, hey, we found this super lovely planet with alien ruins on it. We're going to set up a resort on it, and people are going to go live there who are rich and all that kind of fun stuff. Oh no, we've lost contact with them, but it's not actually aliens. It almost seems like it's corporate sabotage, which is, I don't think that's actually been done in this kind of context where it's like, hey, we're going to this other planet to colonize it. No, another super corporation is going to mess us up. But I am Nora. I look like a ghost from Nova from StarCraft. I mean, from the StarCraft Ghost game that never came out. And I have some incredibly clunky dialogue. The dialogue isn't bad. The delivery is kind of weird, but again, indie game voice acting is usually the last thing that goes in there. And some of these people actually sound like they aren't even using the same kind of microphones. But whatever. This is my little robot here, sort of a maintenance robot. It allows me to upgrade myself and has a broken module that has her kind of do these weird, terrible jokes that are actually terrible jokes done in a good way and almost inappropriate. Like, hey, there's all these people here. This fight's going to be really bad. Do you want me to go up and literally, I quote, want me to say boo and you kill them? So that's actually, it's bad jokes done in a correct way because they even state that the jokes are terrible and they are terrible. Other than that, I got my upgrades. You actually collect items around the place to upgrade, and it requires different amounts of the materials. Like this one's going to require 3 liquid nitrogen, 8 EM coils, and then 2 energy cells. I'm actually just still sort of early in the game. As you can see, this is a pretty big tree here. I've invested heavily into damage and then shields, and then of course recently the making upgrades less expensive. And then you have your skills, which are separate. That's where your level ups come from. And of course, strength increases health, and intellect increases your shield, and agility will affect any skills based on agility. Which you probably saw in upgrades. There's some of these that are. Where's one? All right, hold on. See how this one's locked? It requires agility number 7. I believe I can sprint longer the higher agility I have, but whatever. And there are some like active skills, but I haven't really tried to get any of them, mostly because none of them are super like offensive based. They're all really like, one of them's like a force field and one of them's resistance and stuff like that, and I want offensive abilities. So I'm here trying to take down this force field here, and I've encountered this game is really, really janky and has some really questionable design choices. One of the biggest things is that the load times are pretty long. But we're going over here. The base that I am at is called Nova Base, and they need supplies, so we're trying to try to get some. But they're at this construction site, and I can't get to it because of the force field. So I actually earlier tried to do this. I have to defend this point, and what actually happens is that the enemies just literally pop in, and just gun you down. As you can probably also see in the bottom left, I got my stamina meter, I got my shield, which has been upgraded a bit, and my health that's been upgraded a bit. You probably noticed that in this map, it looks kind of open. The game is very linear. It's almost like Mass Effect Andromeda, where you have this area that you can kind of explore, but there is a very linear. It's supposed to look bigger than it really is. And Andromeda, Mass Effect games did that very well. This game does not do it too well. But again, indie game, and it actually looks pretty decent. There's also tech logs you can read and stuff like that. There's these alien ruins that are all scattered about, and the classic, we've sent researchers down there and they've left text logs and stuff like that. And of course, a game like this would not be complete without some crazy plant that hurts you when you get close. It hurts so good. All right, so I'm going to actually take out my weapon, and like I said before, this game tries really hard to do stuff and falters at places. So when the game, like when you first get the game, the aiming setting is all the way up, and it, like even now, it's still kind of sensitive. It does not control well. Nora here is actually a security person, and when they were coming in to help, they got shot down, of course, because you never start a game flying in because you'll just get shot down. And once in a while, like her aiming just feels weird. I don't know what it is, but anyways, so when you change weapons, you can be running, and then you just literally stop. And you can't do anything until you've actually fully changed that weapon. There's also no dodge or anything like that. So this is where I died earlier, mostly because everything just kind of came in. So watch the map in the top right.
Damage or destruction occurs during interface.
Oh, and here they are. Just kind of boop. Hi there. It's hard to kind of... Oh, and dead. Before I could really do anything, dodge, or get anywhere. So now we get to see a load screen. We're going to try the other force field place, but yeah, that's annoying. They actually spawned in a pattern and in so fast that I couldn't get to any sort of real cover. I couldn't really get down behind the cover I was at, and when I did, they still shot me from around it. There are mostly robot enemies. There are human enemies. One of my quests is to collect their dog tags because there's a news reporter who's like, I want to do a story and see exactly what would cause these people to turn on you. Like the main base has become bad, is attacking the other outposts, and no one knows why because they won't issue demands, and that's why it kind of sounds like corporate sabotage. Then, of course, it could be aliens. Who knows? But yeah, it's Everreach Project Eden. As you can see in the bottom left there, like force field, shield overload, rush, and resistance. Rush, I think it lets you just dash, but none of those really shout out to me as an offensive ability to like do damage, because I have found very much in this game, taking out the enemy before they can really hurt you is the best way. I'm on normal, and you still just take so much damage. Come on. Still loading. I've actually restarted this game once thinking that the game had frozen because it'd get to this like full load bar and then nothing will happen. Like now, oh, there it is. Cool. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to go to this left one over here. But yeah, that's kind of been the frustration. That'll be like a small stretch of the game being like, hey, this is kind of fine. I'll go in, I'll upgrade my abilities, all that kind of fun stuff. And then something like that happens that just kind of just bleh. All right, so maybe this one will be a little better. Is that an outhouse? No. All right. Some of these cases are sealed with a like a little puzzle. One of the puzzles is you control a square and little other squares are falling and you have to avoid them. One of them is one of those puzzles where you have like this shape that you have to connect all the nodes and not overlap the line. The issue with that is the controls aren't good in it. So I've actually failed them before because I had like 2 nodes left. I was going to do it, but the game was like, nope, I'm just going to keep selecting the wrong node. All right. Hopefully this works. You can also sometimes shoot through stuff. So like if your cursor can hit them, you can shoot stuff. Like that, see? Shooting through that. Also, the enemies have actually spawned behind me, maybe? Aha, there you are. All right, let's reload. And this game does a thing where your health recharges and then your shields. Like I'm not touching anything right now. She's just freaking out. I don't know if that's auto aim, targeting the enemy behind the wall or something. All right, come on, game. Like them spawning behind me is like, that is just not, that is bad game design. All right, cool. So if I kind of hide here, I should be fine. But yeah, it's nope. Like that's exactly what, that's a perfect representation of this game. It is trying hard, but then it fails at just super key points that just make you want to turn it off and stop playing, and then you're slapped with this giant load screen. This is actually on an Xbox One X. It is the Gears 5 edition, the one with the white outside and the icy sound when like the ice breaking. But yeah, I can't recommend this at all. I would probably recommend, I actually enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. I would recommend that. Or you could go get Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, all the DLC and Andromeda for pretty cheap at this point if you want a fun space romp. Even the earliest, even Mass Effect 1 had better pacing, better voice acting. And just the not, like, even with its jankiness, it was still more, yes, it is a much higher pay, like a better, like a AAA studio kind of thing. This is just like, I have attempted this little section multiple times, and it's not like if I died and then the loading was quicker or the checkpoint was closer, it wouldn't be as bad. It's just that the death the spawning of enemies around you out of nowhere and then behind you, and then the long load times. It's soul sucking. And I feel like this would probably, and I've had other scenarios where the same thing has happened, where it's put me in a position that it's either exactly like this or similar to this, and it just sucks all the fun out of it. But also I have a pistol. I don't know if there's any other weapons. I have gotten to a point where I really don't care. So let's try this. We'll get all the way back here.
Damage or destruction occurs during interface.
Cool. Sadly, we won't get to hear any of their terrible jokes. All right. Ha! So you're dead. All right. So I just kind of, maybe if I just kind of wait. Oh, so that is auto aim. This game really, from what I've seen before, if you actually just kind of strafe around, you will take a lot less damage. This game really at points did not want me to take cover, because the enemies are, I think they just kind of, they're not hit scan enemies. They kind of track you, and they don't do the best of that. All right, oh, hello. I think the enemy design is fine. One of the earlier conversations with my robot friend was like, don't you have anything that can repurpose as a weapon, like overload the shields or like a laser drill? And she's like, I have many screwdrivers. And I'm like, I get you, robot. Oh, that's gonna kind of. So they're all kind of hunched up over there, so I can't really get too close to them without being overwhelmed. Oh, that one's trying to. That's another one down, and I'm at 62 health. You lose life and shields really, really fast on normal, at least. All right, 4 health. Let's hide over here. So I only have 4 enemies left. Luckily, they don't have the same ability to shoot through boxes as I do. All right, you're dead. You're dead. Looks like I got 2 more. Yeah, all right. So since there's only 1 more, I should be fine. There you go, and that's it. We're gonna open that. But yeah, it took a few attempts. I actually had to kind of I defied physics.
Particularly adept at killing, Lieutenant Harwood.
Thanks?
Is that why you enlisted in Everreach's security division?
Sure.
What? No, I signed up for the usual reasons.
So, not murder.
No, just, I don't know, the whole package.
So earlier when the robot is talking to you, she's like,
Meeting new people?
like whenever she says someone name, it's like it does the thing where they have to like Lieutenant
Uncomfortable with the
Hardwood.
being
So like
disinterested.
they get your rank and then they have to search for your name kind of thing, which is kind of funny.
Only supposed to use lethal force on individuals posing a threat to Everreach.
But yeah, this is Everreach Project Eden. I am Zero JD. This is the XBLA fans channel. I can't really recommend this especially with how you can probably cheap. You can get any or all the Mass Effect. You probably can get all the Mass Effect games, or at least 1, 2, and 3, cheaper than this, and then the DLC for a little extra. And then Andromeda is not terrible. It's been out long enough. It's gotten patches. I think I enjoyed it on release. And I am Zero JD. This is the XBLA fans channel. If you have any questions, ask down below. This is Everreach Project Eden. It's super janky. I see what it's trying to go for, and it has some good ideas. The execution is just at points unacceptable. Like that entire, what you saw earlier, like the enemies just popping in, and it just ruins the fun, especially when you die, and those load times are just crazy. For those curious, I think it has like 10 achievements, and they're each 100 each, and then later on there's a level selection. So if you can get through it, it's probably a fairly easy 1K. Thank you. Bye-bye.